si cuentas paso por la ventana, veía yo cuando un silencio se sintió.
Del barrio de Palo Verde. Quiero que se pongan muy al alba. Quiero que sepan y que se pongan muy alerta de que hay unos gabachos que les quieren quitar sus tierras y poner un estadio de béisbol para gringar nuestro barrio. ¿Me entiendes, Méndez? Levanten sus chivas y vámonos de volada, porque nuestro barrio nos lo van a cambiar y limpio ese valor. Nos van a enterrar nuestros cantones y a nosotros y a los nuestros nos van a mandar al valle más grande de México. Ese carnal, ¿sabes cuál es el valle más grande de México? Simón, el valle más grande de México es el valle mucho a la Quinta Chistosa.
We're getting ready to move. This is it. April the 25th, 2007.
What do we want?
Housing.
What do we want?
Now.
What do we want?
Housing.
When do we want it?
Now.
When I say housing, you say now. Housing.
Now.
Housing.
Now.
I say justice, you say now. Justice.
If you see urban renewal that's happening right now in LA, from the Staples Center to all the high-end lofts that you're seeing in downtown, that's having an effect on market, the real estate market, the rental market. And all of this basically affects low-income people more, which are usually people of color who are most affected.
This was predominantly for a lot of years as mostly senior population, mostly monolingual, so like Japanese speaking or Chinese speaking or Korean speaking for the most part. Lots of other ethnicities and races too. It's always been a diverse neighborhood. But so that, being a total population of 1,200 to the majority of people moving in are going to be like young professionals, incomes of like probably, $70,000 to $100,000 a year or more.
If we talk about gentrification and urban renewal, this is what it is. You're building for someone new, and it's usually displacing the old people who have lived here for 20, 30 years, suffering the conditions when no one else ever wanted to be here. So when you look at the population in this community, 40% of this community only makes $15,000 or less. So that's 40% of this community. But if you look at what's being built in this community, it's high-end lofts. People who can only afford $4,000 a month rent, or who could afford $1 million penthouse.
Everywhere you go, the rents are really high. It's really bad. And we do have people living under the bridges.
A lot of tenants, they're just forced into slum housing or into housing where landlords just don't even ask. And you can imagine what type of housing that is. It's usually really undesirable housing.
People are making a killing off of what's killing families, which a lot of the slum housing, that's roaches and things like that people live in. Because the land's so hot and gentrification's happening, people are kind of cashing in on these homes. So families who've lived here forever suffered through those conditions, suffered through the misery of gangs in our neighborhood, suffered. But now that it's such a vital area now and people want to invest, these are the same folks who are being disinvested and actually being pushed out.
De hecho, los que son dueños de casas, que son latinos o hispanos, les están diciendo de que vienen de la ciudad, que les dicen que está mal construido, que pronto se va a destruir esa casa, que no tienen los medios suficientes para reconstruir, pues entonces les dan un precio que se les venda y que en otro lado compran más barato, que está mejor y siempre hacia afuera, fuera de estas áreas.
Era la medianoche when oímos a scream.
In the city of Los Angeles, we have rent control. And what that means is that essentially the landlord can't raise the rent except for once a year and for a certain percentage. The problem is that in areas where tenants are living in units that are under rent control and there's been gentrification, so now the landlord can get more money for their apartments, because once a tenant moves out of their unit, then the landlord can raise it to whatever they want. And so that creates a lot of motivation for landlords to find some minor violation to try and evict the tenants, because if they can get a tenant out of an apartment that they pay $400 or $500 for and they've been living there for 25 years, they can raise it to $2,000.
There was a building over here in downtown that was worth $1 million 5 years ago. The landlord knew that if they evicted tenants and sold the place, they could get about $8 million for it. So, you know, if you bought it for $1 million, you're making $7 million off of it. You don't care what you do. You do anything illegal because you can pay $1 million off that way, and then you can still make money.
One of the most dramatic stories was one business owner saw her rent triple in basically in a month. You know, she was given a new lease term, and it was triple, and so she couldn't afford it, so she had to close her business. And now in its place is like this kind of fancy yogurt place.
So when you have a high market of land, when pricing of a piece of square foot is worth $400, that's a lot of money. And so what's happening is you're having long-time landowners saying, well, I have a rent-controlled tenant that's been in my building for 20 years, getting $500 of rent a month. You know, it's something. It's a lot for them, but for me, I can get double, triple the amount now for my building because my land has gone up so quickly. So the landlord, it just makes business sense, right? That's what we call it. It's business sense. But at the same time, you're affecting a whole social fabric, a whole social community when you're doing just your business sense. There's always been community struggles over redevelopment and who defines what their community looks like. And that's basically the same thing here. You have people with money and people who own land who are making decisions of what a community looks like, and they don't necessarily live in this community. They probably have a business here, but they don't necessarily live here.
It's a challenge because real estate development, isn't really controlled by the community. It doesn't usually reflect any kind of grassroots kind of sentiment. So we're fighting an uphill battle.
Though by law it's illegal to evict tenants just for no apparent reason, but it's happening because it makes economic sense for owners.
My family had to go through the eviction proceeding about 3.5 years ago. It was the same reason. We lived in Echo Park, Silver Lake, and we paid little rent for a nice 2-bedroom in a neighborhood that is now very trendy. So, of course, our landlord looked for some excuse to evict us. Although we had our cats for a long time, and the previous owner allowed us to, and she knew they were there, and she just decided one day that she no longer wanted them because they caused cockroaches. So, you know, my cats were my babies. And actually, I was willing to move out. I was, you know, if you don't want my cats, I'm fine, because I don't want something to happen to them because you decide to get back at me. Yeah, but she didn't give me time. I said, you know what, I'll move out in 2 weeks. And next thing I knew, I had a eviction. I had the unlawful detainer, which is what it's called. Well, then I could no longer just move out. I had to fight it. So I had to answer it, and I had to go to court. Because if I just decided, oh, I don't want to answer, then I would have lost automatically in 5 days, and the sheriff would have come throw my family out. I had been already working in the tenants' rights sector. You know, I was already really passionate about it, and then it happened to me. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's happening to everybody. I had to go through that and deal with the landlord attorney that was just really disrespectful and wasn't used to somebody that kind of knew their rights and wasn't going to let them push her around, you know. So it was so disrespectful that my mom said, oh my God, I just want to really slap that guy.
They did a bad, bad thing. 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 You ever love someone so much you thought your little heart was gonna break in two? I didn't think so. You ever try with all your heart and soul to get your lover back to you? Oh, so you ever pray with all your heart and soul just to walk away? They did a bad, bad thing.
I see the signs of gentrification, and every weekend that I'm walking through a neighborhood, I see a new pile of old mattresses and a for rent sign that says that multiple units are available, and that just shows me that, you know, well, these families are getting evicted.
We're getting surrounded by brand new schools, and the way we're going, who's going to go to those schools? All these families, they're being, you know, pushed out. I mean, all those corporate condominiums by downtown, they have children? I don't think so.
A local elementary school here 2 years ago, every year they had been getting increases in student population. This past year they actually lost 200 students, and they didn't know why. And little by little people put things together, and it turned out that a lot of families are just getting evicted.
They're going to be overcrowding apartments because they're going to be, okay, my friend, come and live with me until everything settles or until you get another apartment or whatever reason. But they're making $1,000 a month. Let's just to think, right? 1 bedroom, it goes for $1,100 right now, wherever you go. It doesn't matter if it's the West Side or it's the Boyle Heights or East Los Angeles or here in the South Central. It doesn't matter. The rents are really high.
This is the city, Los Angeles, California.